I suffer for my art. Now it's your turn.
Your scene there looks amazing. This is our fourth video. The reason I keep looking down there is because that's where Sai is.
Yeah.
This is our fourth video. This is Sai's fourth scene, and I think this one's my favorite.
Yeah, this is my workplace now.
Yeah.
And I figured I'm tight space, but I've put the camera in front of the screen. So I'm looking at you, but you've got the eye line right. Got my mic tucked away nicely. I'm on big headphones because I found the in-ears were like deathly uncomfortable.
Oh, that's right. I got to do that too. I should get a screen behind my camera so I can see you.
Yeah, so I'm looking at you right in the eye.
See, if I want to look at you, I got to do this.
Yeah, so that's why you're fidgeting, because I noticed I was talking off into space before, and now I'm actually talking to you. It's like easier to engage.
I always fidget, man. I've always been a fidget. Yeah, I'm going to do that for the next video.
Depending on what stage the Adderall is burning.
Yeah, I just took a 10 milligram.
Oh, that's nice.
Well, I like to take it when I'm mixing because I get laser focus.
Yeah.
Yeah, they told me 25 years ago in New York City that I had ADD, and they wanted to put me on meds, and I said, not right now, for obvious reasons.
I could have told you that after 10 minutes of meeting you.
Well, yeah, of course. And, you as well.
Takes one to know one.
Takes one to know it. You're a little better than I am. I get it's like squirrel. I get very distracted. So when I'm mixing, I really like to take a low dose of that to really zero in and focus, because 2 or 3 hours of sharp focus is a lot better than 8 hours of being distracted and having to go back and fix mistakes. And
I mean, I've tried that. I tried, one time some guy prescribed me Ritalin, but I found it made me anxious. At the same time, I was focused, but I was focused on the impending doom.
Well, you can't, I have to be very careful. If I'm going to take and 10 milligrams is a very low dose, right? 5 is the lowest, I think.
Yeah.
I can't, I like to drink iced coffee. I can't drink iced coffee with it, or I immediately get very edgy.
Yeah, the jitters.
The Ritalin is a more severe compound than Adderall.
Yeah. Well, I noticed for me that what helps me concentrate is when I've created something, I'm so excited that something new is coming out, and I give it my all. And then my ADD kicks in is once I've exhausted myself to death, and then I'll go off and not focus on anything because this tune or whatever's in the back of my head, and whatever anyone's saying to me, it's like I'm in the background of this tune going, and I'm searching for words, and everything is about the lyric that's going to fit with the piece of music. It's like people sort of play roles in my madness.
I was just adjusting my seat because I feel like I'm a little low in the frame. Now I'm almost even with you.
I'll tell you what, new puppies.
Yes, I was going to ask you about the new puppy, adorable puppy.
Adorable puppy, but we were likening it to having a new infant, but an infant doesn't suddenly run around the room at 8 weeks old and pee everywhere and then poo. So this little one.
Well, let's see, three young boys, a significant other, a 1-year-old dog, and a puppy.
Yeah.
I mean, you've done a good job of filling up your calendar there.
And a dishwasher that's very hungry. It's seems like the dishwasher's turning 24/7.
I can't even imagine what groceries cost to feed a crew like that.
Yeah. Well, we're on a starvation plan right now. I'm figuring if I starve them out, they'll go out.
They'll just leave.
Find food. Yeah.
It's a good thing you're a rock star.
Yeah. No, we feed them.
Yeah.
And they're very pleasant, actually. It keeps me out of the morass of my own mind, and to actually remember things that happened in my own youth that seem like a million years ago. But I don't know. I don't like to play the grumpy old man comparison thing to in my day. But things were freaking different back then. Didn't wear a seatbelt, I'm still here. Didn't wear a cycle helmet, I'm still here. There's that whole line of didn't do half the things that are now laws. and we're still here. And maybe that's the problem because we're still here.
I've thought about exactly what you're talking about, how different things were. I don't think I ever would have learned to play the piano had I grown up in this current digital age. There's so many other distractions. There's so many other things going on. There wasn't anything when I was in the 7th and 8th grade. There was 3 television channels, and during the day there was nothing on, and there was a piano in the corner of the room. And thank God there wasn't any other distractions, or I don't think I ever would have. I mean, how does anyone get anything done these days?
No, there were only 3 channels then, but I was watching American shows mainly as a kid, which I think, when people say that America and England is 2 great countries separated by a common language, half of our indoctrination started with the Flintstones. Like I had a crush on Pebbles.
Pebbles, the baby?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not.
You had a crush on
myself.
was it grown-up Pebbles? I hope.
Yeah, it was just the voice.
The teenage Pebbles, please, because Pebbles was the little child.
Yeah,
You're scaring me
met
right
little
now.
girls that were into Bam Bam. I was just more the goo goo gaga noises they made.
Oh, wait a minute! You were talking about when you were really little.
Yeah, when I was little.
Oh, okay. Well, that's bad. I thought maybe you were like 20.
Yeah, no.
Perving over Pebbles the baby.
No, because I had a real little baby sister that wasn't making those same noises. She was more like, wah. And so Pebbles was well behaved. Anyway, so we ended up watching I Dream of Jeannie and Bewitched and all these sort of post-war American TV shows that were plastering over the pending doom and gloom of post-war Western world. Meanwhile, the Bay of Pigs is acting out, and we're watching some witch do this with her nose, and the furniture's.
I miss the ignorance is bliss days.
God.
When there, if you didn't watch the evening news or look at a newspaper, you were blissfully unaware of all the bullshit.
Yeah.
That was going on.
What's ignorance today if it was bliss then? I don't know. I'm asking because it's innocence is good, but ignorance is
well, yeah, I think it's just a saying, isn't? You're right. Ignorance is dangerous.
It is, because you think innocence is
bliss. You're right. That's a better way to put it.
Innocence is bliss, and when you know what you don't know, it keeps you open, and you go out and search to you're sort of learning, and you kind of go, if I learned something new today. But ignorance is the opposite. It's oh, I can't take any more. I don't need any more to function.
That's a really interesting take on that. You've just ruined that saying for me, or you've improved it and educated me.
Well, yeah, because I just messed with my mind for a while, and
always the thinker.
As I've mellowed out in life, it's I yearn and mourn for the innocence that I once had and felt around me. Just the innocence you see of smiling at a passerby and going, all right, and they're actually looking for it too. There's a need to exchange. So some people just look at the ground or they're looking at their phones, but the innocence of a quick good morning. And since I'm walking the dog, I'm doing that quite often with the other dog walkers.
Yeah, I get that too here. We have a park, Sunset Park, really nice park, and everybody's very friendly on those walks.
Yeah,
I don't usually have a dog. Well, I don't ever have a dog with me, but everyone's always good morning, and that's nice. I was like that always growing up because I grew up in Ohio where everybody was sort of neighborly and polite generally. And then when I moved to New York, boy, was I in for a little bit of a surprise. When you get into an elevator with strangers and you say hello, they tend to look at you suspiciously.
Yeah. Are you going to fart the moment I leave?
You know what I mean? I can remember walking down Restaurant Row and they would have the hostesses, and I'd, nod and smile, and they'd look at me like I was about to attack them.
Yeah, it's strange, right? When you look back to Freud and Cafe Society, and when he was working on his sort of the science of the ego and what it is to be a functioning human being, a lot of the scenes that they harken back to is like people going out for an afternoon stroll in the park, where people would go out and the baby would be getting air in some ostentatious pram, and the nannies would be out, and then the poor people would be playing some grind organ with a monkey dancing on it, all that stuff. There'd be people were very close to each other on many levels. And then they had sort of cafe society, which soon became like Cheers at the bar, and then it soon became like crack down the back of an alley. What did we do to the sort of human dignity of each other's presence?
That's really interesting. You know, that brings up a couple of things. I think that still exists in places. It certainly does. And I'll tell you my experience. Like, God, it had to be maybe 10 years ago. I went to England for Christmas, and we stayed in this little town called Whalley up north near Manchester, where Debbie's brother lives. And Christmas morning, he wakes me up really early, and he's like, "Come on, where are we going?" Walking through these cobblestone streets in the fog. It was like the perfect Christmas setting. And we walk into this pub, and it is absolutely heaving. It is packed with everybody from the village. There's a baby, newborn baby, 2 days old, being passed around like a football while the mother sits in the corner drinking a pint.
I thought she was selling her milk by the ounce.
Everybody was celebrating together. And then like at noon, it's like a bell went off and the place emptied out and everybody went home to their families. Yeah. And that, you know, I hadn't felt a sense of community like that, even though it wasn't my community, in maybe never, right. You know?
I think that's Ireland is like that too, you know, where the pubs open at 7 a.m.
It was really, and just because I was Paul, Debbie's brother-in-law, I had so many pints lined up in front of me from people that were buying me pints. There's no way I could drink them all.
Right.
So it was fun. And on the other side of the coin, I just watched this documentary on the Philippines and how, you know, this American guy met this Filipino woman and he went to her village. And same thing, the entire village kind of lives together. They do everything.
That's interesting that you bring that up, because Tisha, my better half, she is Filipino.
Oh,
and so for the last 12 years, we've been going for all the holidays to join her family up in Fairfield and Sacramento, around there. And the family is enormous. It's growing every time we go there. There's like a few more babies. There's like 65 of them, and they're all so close.
That's what this village was like. They all do everything together. They eat together. They shop together. They cook together. Everything. They party together. It was amazing.
They're all interested in each other too. It's like a kind of a real support system too. When somebody's having issues or something's happening, they're there for each other. Like, oh, this person's sick, so this person's taking care of the babies, or this thing. And there's the grandmother who's like 95, 6, who's still alive, and the matriarch, and she's very revered. And you could see the whole order of everyone's like, here comes grandma, and everyone's like very gracious. And those are important things. And when you look at how we kind of think about old people just out there, and, you know, healthcare and who takes care of that, because this is something that's going to grind into our daily lives quite soon as we get to that age. How does healthcare and old age care work? I just saw something today where, you know, people are still mistreated like terribly in these old people homes. And in this family, you see that she has this amazing support system that comes from a very tight-knit family. We seem to have lost a little of that.
A lot of that.
I mean, maybe a lot of people do take care of their mothers, or fathers close by, but then as soon as you leave the front door, suddenly, I
remember in Los Angeles, it wasn't uncommon for the Armenian community to live 3 generations to a house.
Yeah.
And you don't really see that much. We may see it more as costs rise
Right.
and life becomes less affordable, you may actually see a return to that.
Yeah. I mean, well, the age when you could actually afford to buy a house, it's paid off. You had your kids, and now the kids are moving in because they're going to take care of you. And those kind of annoyances that families go through, maybe they faded out. It's not such a bad thing in the end. People might find that their personal space is shrunken to the size of a phone, but that's all you need, right? Headphones and a phone, you got enough personal space, then you can then go and function in the house.
These folks made use of every bit of space. Like the garage was converted.
Yeah.
Every inch of that house, of those houses, was, utilized in a efficient way.
Yeah. I often think about when you see people like mowing the lawn, I keep thinking, wow, you're lucky to have that amount of space where you can grow something as stupid as a lawn. And why aren't you growing vegetables?
Yeah.
Because if you're just going to sprinkle this,
the HOA won't let you.
Yeah. And that started from like Louis the 16th, where he put grass fields all around Versailles. And then the middle class, many generations later, thought this isn't things of luxury. We have plenty of grass around us, so we're doing well. So you try telling that to somebody who's living in Arizona as the sprinkler runs dry.
Oh, yeah. Well, we have rocks.
Yeah, exactly. Around here, it's people are learning fast. It's like all these desert landscapes are suddenly appearing.
Exactly. Same here. It's there's incentives to, some of the older homes on the west side of Las Vegas still have these big lawns, and there's huge incentives to tear all that out and do desert landscaping, of course, because of, water concerns. And
just wait till the golf courses come up under public scrutiny. I mean, when we go down to Cabo a lot, there's all these golf courses designed by whoever. They've got desalination plants to sprinkle the greens.
Right.
Meanwhile, people are turning up to get, water in a little bucket out of a dripping tap when there's a drought.
They've actually put regulations on swimming pools here too. Depending on the size of your house, you can only have an X size swimming pool.
Right.
Like my pool is really big for the size house I have, and that's no longer available. Can't do that anymore.
But in 10 years, maybe you'll only be allowed to swim in your own dishwater.
Well, in 10 years, I might be drinking out of it.
Yeah.
What's left of it.
Yeah. You'll be keeping lobsters in it.
Yeah, maybe.
Come on, Larry the lobster.
I keep thinking, well, we're not going to run out of water. There's adults in charge. And then I remember I'm an adult and have absolutely no fucking clue. So,
yeah, you just pray for snow.
Something.
And hope that water comes down eventually out of the pipe. 134 degrees the other day in the Mojave Desert, or 138 degrees. I don't know what it was where you were.
It's been hitting the high teens, 118. It hit 120 on Sunday.
Holy crap.
That's hot. I mean, that sets some records, I think, for this time. Normally we don't get the heat this early. I mean, it is July, but usually the real oppressive heat starts in August. But even Los Angeles, I'm in constant contact with my friends in LA, and it's hot there and humid. Unseasonably warm and oddly humid.
I know the people that end up watching these podcasts, like-minded folk, such as Fix fans probably, and people that know you are going through the same thing.
Of them.
I don't care what side of the fence you're on. You still have to breathe in the morning, and you have to fall asleep at night. Still breathing, hopefully. This week, we're in the week of age is a big concern, and some people are trying to get the president to hang his boots up. I mean, allow the man the grace of what he's done. He's done some beautiful things, but also, when my father was at the age that this president is at, old Joe Biden, it was quite apparent that he just needed to take it easy. And I think a lot of people are going through that. It's not just, we don't know what's going on. We all have parents or have had parents, if we're lucky enough to still have them, to see how their minds are working. Some people are lucky enough to have, that.
Yeah, my folks are, gosh, I think my dad's 88 now. My mom's 84, something like that within a year. And they're sharp as a tack still. I mean,
Yeah.
I talk to my mother about financial stuff, CDs, interest rates.
Yeah.
My dad likes to talk about entertainment. And, they're very lucky not only just to have them both still, but that they're both, still sharp.
Yeah. I mean, there is that, but there's also the high pressure this guy's been under for so long.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Well, they say, every U.S. president has said in one way or another that 4 years in office ages them 20 years.
Yeah, really?
The stresses of it and the
Right.
and I believe that, I believe that. Look at Barack Obama's first term and then look at a picture of him the start of his second term.
Yeah, I was going to say he was the one.
That's 4 years and a startling difference if you look at that. I'm going to find some pictures and put them up so we can see.
Yeah, he went gray really quickly.
Yeah, well, you would, wouldn't you?
Yeah, Jesus. It's a dirty job, but someone's got to do it. But.
Exactly. I saw an interesting video interview that you did where they were talking about how a lot of these early songs that you wrote that were perceived to be a little dark and doom and gloomy are every bit as relevant and even, prophetic, for the time.
Yeah.
Do you remember that interview?
I've said that many times, so it's probably that was kind of generally my take on things back then. Yeah. The only difference then is I was young and angry, and now I'm just angry.
Right.
And I felt then that there was a bit of hope in the background that your efforts would sort of gain momentum and you would be part of the change that you wanted to see and all that. Now it's like kind of alarmingly obvious that we're like lemmings fighting for the last parachute.
Well, I think what we should do is just go to your place in Cabo and turn off all the news.
Yep.
And, bang on coconuts late into the night.
Yeah, man. Because there is a happiness down there that I certainly feel it, and, not wanting to be patronizing, but the people down there have a natural way of giving of themselves. They don't, their identity is not wrapped up in what they have or don't have, or it's like, here I am, smiling face. My mother smiled at me when I was a baby, and I learned how to smile at passers-by. I mean, we started this conversation with that. What you carry into the room, what do you bring into the place? Start with a smile. Don't grit your teeth and poison yourself.
It's tough when you have resting bitch face, runs in my family.
Yeah.
One time you told me that I wear my ass on my face.
Yeah.
And that stuck with me.
Yeah, I've been accused of having resting bitch face too. But it's like, no, I'm just deep in thought.
Right. Well, that's normally my case too. I'm not, my wife will go, what's wrong? And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm just thinking.
I mean, it's like the aging rock and roller thing, like as you are clinging onto your hair and your long hair and you suddenly see a photo, you go, God, I look like an old, I don't want to say it because I look like an old, no, I can't because it'd be.
You look very good, Si.
Discriminatory.
What are you, 91 now? You look terrific.
Yeah, stuck in the 90s.
I want to bring up something I saw on the Fix page on Facebook. Was it today or yesterday? The movie thing, is it If? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, If.
And who's playing you in that?
Ryan Reynolds, apparently.
That's amazing.
I haven't seen it yet, but apparently there's a scene where a young girl has a fantasy and wants to be in a Tina Turner video.
Right.
And it's the Better Be Good to Me video that they spoof. I don't quite know how the vehicle works, but I've been told that he does me and some other guy does a sort of an impression of Jamie in the background. I've yet to see it.
So this fan saw it and she says they dressed Ryan Reynolds. The woman said it looked like a cross between your wardrobe and Rupert's. So I got to I definitely have to find the movie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm waiting for it to come out on Apple Plus because I don't, I might look like a little weird going into the movies alone to see a PG movie these days. Though I do like going to see PGs. It's like avoiding disasters.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
There's enough disaster. You don't need that in your entertainment.
You know what, though, is Ryan Reynolds, talking about Ryan Reynolds, he's bought that soccer club football team, I like to call them, is Wrexham. And my team that I support, Chelsea, are actually playing an exhibition game in Santa Clara, just down the road on 23rd, 24th of July. They're playing Wrexham. So I'm like, I've got to get tickets for this game. And hopefully Ryan Reynolds will be there. And I could say, hey, mate, what you doing spoofing me?
That's true. We should get him on our podcast, too, and see how he prepared for the role of being Cy Curnin.
Yeah. But then I thought he might not be there because his new other movie, that Deadpool with Wolverine.
Yeah, those guys tend to be kind of busy.
That's coming out the next day.
All right. Well, Ryan Reynolds, if you're out there, if anybody knows him, the 7 people that watch this, please let them know that we want to talk to him.
Who interviewed him, actually.
Really? About that?
Yeah, for Canada Day in KevJet. Kevin
I'd like
Cottrell.
to see that.
Yeah. He went off and interviewed a load of backstage people for the Canada Day event in London, and he was off to go and interview Ryan Reynolds, he said. I said, well, mention that thing to the film, about the film.
And did he?
I haven't heard back from him yet. He sent me his podcast, but I haven't listened to it.
It's not every day you get a major movie star to play you in a movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's what
would play me in a movie.
It was fun.
I don't even want to think about it.
Well, you could have
some doughy fat bastard.
No. Yeah, there's quite a few people I see on TV and I go, that looks like Doug Beck.
People come up to me all the time in Vegas and think that I'm some comedian. And I don't even want to know who it is, because 9 times out of 10, when you're told you look like somebody, you're insulted. So I just go, not him. Are you sure? Are you sure? It's like, yeah, I'm quite sure. Thank you.
I'm looking at all your gear behind you right now that's flicking and flacking.
Do you like it?
I do.
Well, I mean, you sent me some beautiful pieces of music over the last, 6 weeks. I have 5 things here from you. In fact, one of them up on the screen right now, well-meaning. That sounds great. The sax thing? Who played that sax?
That's a guy called Kyle Nixon, young player out of Sacramento who is awesome.
Yeah, really expressive.
Yeah, he's been down in San Antonio playing with a section for a while. And I said to him, hey, you got to come out on the road with me next year because I'm going to take a little trio quartet out. I've decided I never want to play an instrument on stage. I just want to stand and sing.
Yeah, you should. I'll play piano for you.
Yeah, there you go.
I know all the songs.
Singing is what I do. In the studio, it's fine. You can, it's thing, but I can't do my thing. What am I waiting for? I got to get out on the road. There's these huge gaps in between the fix getting out on the road for various reasons. And I'm like, I got to keep busy. And the only high that I really love is singing on stage in front of people, because there's no safety net. There's a connection, and it brings something out that as you get older, all the tricks and the studio thing just don't give you that oomph.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's why all of us got into music, really, was that initial rush of playing it live. And I wound up a studio rat for most of my career, which is fine.
Yeah.
But,
we all do.
But most everybody I know starts with that initial playing live and the feeling that it gives you. And then people venture off into different areas of the business and stuff. And you were lucky enough to be good enough to remain a lead singer.
The big stadiums, that's the day job. And those are few and far between these days. But we are playing a big festival down in Cancun.
Oh, right.
Called Beaches. Funny thing is, it's on election night.
Oh.
I'm like, well,
that's an odd choice.
I'm guessing a lot of the fans will have voted by mail before they've left.
Maybe.
And I hope they pack enough because they may not want to come back home. Including myself. I might just go west and go back to Cabo.
Who else is on that bill?
I know it's like a 4-night thing, and we're topping one night.
Right.
I'm always the last to know. It's just like, hand me a mic, sing, give my mic, leave.
Is it a one-off or is it a tour?
Yeah, it's a one-off.
It's a one-off. Yes,
We've
that's
got
a little bit
dates
easier.
in Florida to warm up,
Right.
and then we're just announcing on Tuesday some London dates.
Oh, right.
Which actually, by the time this airs, they will be
same venue.
No, we're playing different ones. We're playing on Sunday, December 15th, Manchester. We're playing at Gorilla. December 16th.
That? September?
Yeah. Manchester, December 16th. Then we're playing Glasgow, December 16th. Then Bristol, December 18th. 19 is Wolverhampton. And the 20th is in London.
Wow. You don't normally do that many UK dates.
Well, we had, that London show we did in March was heaving. And we were so elated by it. And we suddenly realized that it was this coming home. We felt like prodigal sons that had finally, people have had enough time to understand why we're weird and quirky, and it's not that bad. I'm looking at all your gear behind you right now that's flicking and flacking.
Do you like it?
I do.
Cabo, I can pack all this gear up that you see, take it to Cabo, put it in that upstairs room that you always FaceTime me from.
Yep.
And we'll just sit there and make music till we drop.
Yeah, there you go, man.
You know what I mean?
Let's do it. It's easy living. It cools down at night. It's very pleasant. Not much to hate about the place right now.
All right, hey, Cyril.
All right, mate.
All right, I'll talk to you a little later.
Love you.
Love you. Bye-bye.
Bye.